We've been discussing the impact this presidential election will have on the U.S. Supreme Court and the legalization of abortion. But does it really matter if a president takes a stand for unborn babies and their mothers? Aren't there more important issues to tackle? Do you think it's important that the next president be pro-life?
Absolutely.
And why is that?
If you don't understand fundamentally why we live, what humanity is about, if there's no relationship to God, then the only requirement of man becomes conformity. So you have a different view about the role of government. You have to fundamentally understand what the framers had in mind and intended when they said life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Can one vote really make a difference?
Your vote, my vote, is our biggest hope for success. Our votes are directly related to whether unborn children will live or die. We have the power to swing this entire election. And if we swing this entire election, then who's on the Supreme Court will allow us to start to unravel Roe versus Wade.
Kurt, how do you think the voters can affect what the Supreme Court does with the abortion issue in the future?
It's completely up to the voters. It's up to the voters who they elect as president, and it's up to the voters who they elect as their senators. And sometimes, what really gives me pause is there are people who don't want to vote for moderate conservatives, let me say. They'd rather sit home and let a liberal president win or let liberals get elected to the Senate. And I don't think they realize that although that may not affect some policies immediately, that will drastically affect who's going to be on the Supreme Court. And so even if you're not completely crazy about that moderate senator or that moderate president, vote for them over the liberal president or the liberal senator, because in the long term it will have a huge effect on the Supreme Court and thus a huge effect on abortion law.
One thing is certain, the outcome of this presidential election could change the course of history for millions of unborn babies and women. Make sure you're part of the decision. As you've heard from our guests today, changing our nation is in your hands. Go to facinglife.tv and register to vote. It's the first step to making a positive impact in America. Once you're a registered voter, print out your form and mail it to us. Then we'll enter you into a drawing for a free laptop. We're serious about having you make a difference for our nation. For more information, go to facinglife.tv.